Good afternoon, everyone, or should I say body order, everyone. Welcome to our second town hall today. This one hopefully targeting the Armenian business community. We thought it would be important to have Armenian speakers and to target the community, which in particular has many, many small business owners. And so I'm State Senator Anthony Portantino, and I just want to say welcome and thank you for being here. Ace, if you could just repeat what I said, that would be great. And then I'll introduce Mike, and then you could repeat that too.
Okay, Pari Luis Polorit, Pari Or, Bidis Ksink Mikani Varganen, Guzemgor, Tezi Ուրախությունով Perel, որ as հայտարարությունը host Senator Portantinon գա եւ ուրիշին բիդի Perենք Mike Danielin.
All right, thank you, Ace. So yes, Mike Daniel, who is the SBDC California, is going to discuss the program, and I'm going to turn it over to him. So thank you all for being with us today.
Okay.
Mike, you're on mute.
It wouldn't be a Zoom webinar if somebody wasn't on mute, but thank you so much, Senator, for allowing us to come on. And so I'm going to walk through this presentation with Ace. But first, I want to introduce Pat Nye and Don Lowe. Pat Nye is the director of the LA SBDC Regional Network, and Don is the Pasadena SBDC director. They're going to talk a little bit about what the SBDC does, and then how you can get in touch with them for one-on-one consulting services, either for help with the California Relief Fund or any other type of assistance you may need in your business. But I'll turn it over to you, Pat.
Thanks, Mike. And I wanted to thank Senator Portantino for holding this session. And I also wanted to thank both Don Lowell and Ace for making this possible. As Mike said, we're the Los Angeles Small Business Development Center Network. We cover LA, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties. And we offer both workshops and one-on-one professional advising, all at no cost to small businesses. So we're here today to support the State of California COVID Relief Grant, but we can also help with all the other things that small businesses are facing today. And to get our services, all you have to do is request them. If you go to smallbizla.org, you can go there, find the nearest center to you, and sign up for services. And again, it's at no cost. This is all funded through state and federal dollars, so it's already paid for. So please take advantage of that. And with that, I'll hand it over to Don Lowell, my director for the Pasadena Center.
Thanks, Pat. And hello, everyone. Again, I'm Don Lowell. I'm the
Actually,
director.
Don, if I could hold you up for 1 second, just
Sure.
to the audience, if they need any translation in Armenian, if they would use the chat to let us know, or maybe Ace, you want to just throw that out there in Armenian, just say the presenters are going to be in English unless someone needs Armenian translation, and then we'll translate. But we are going to use the chat for questions. If anybody has questions, they can type in their questions, and then they'll be answered either in the chat or so someone just said they need it in the chat. She needs it in Armenian. So that means Ace, you'll have to translate a little bit of the information as well, okay?
Okay, sure thing. So I'll just quickly say, եթե հարցումներ ունիք հաջից թրեք ադցանցի մեջ, հոն որ քվել է chat, մենք կփորձենք պատասխանել. Go ahead.
Are we good?
Yeah.
So, as Pat said, our location in Pasadena is one of 9 centers throughout LA and Ventura County. And together we have about 100 professional consultants available to help you grow your business and to recover from COVID-19, whether that's funding from programs like the California Relief Grant or the new PPP program, or maybe it's marketing. We have a lot of folks right now pivoting online, or maybe you just want to chat with us about an upcoming negotiation with a landlord, we have folks who can help you, and it's all 100% no cost to you. So I'll put that contact info in the chat, and we look forward to helping you. Ace?
So I'll quickly translate that. Մենք ինը կետրոններ ունենք, մենք մասամբ ֆինանսավորված ենք կառավարությունով, so ամեն ինչ որ գուտանք գործեզի ծրի է վճարում պետք չունենք, մենք ամեն ինչ կնենք բիզնեսների խորհրդադու ենք, կնանք օգնել ցեզի մասամբ եթե օգնություն պետք ունիք նորաստեղծ բիզնեսներին, ինձևի որ ռեստորաններին, բիզնեսի խանութներին եւ այլն եւ այլն. Go ahead.
Perfect. So now we're going to get into the grant program itself. So we're going to talk about the California Relief Grant Program. So let's get started with the website itself, careliefgrant.com. The first round opened up December 30th, and it closes on Wednesday, January 13th. And the one takeaway I want you to have as we go through this is not a first come, first serve. So our job is to get all of you signed up and through the application process by the 13th so that you're in the first round. And if you happen to be in the first round, and if you were not selected in the first round, you're automatically put in the second round.
So առաջին բանը աս website-ն է, կարևոր է ցերկովը բահեցեք, առաջին շրջանակիցը գբացված է չորեքշաբթի դեկտեմբեր 30-ին եւ գկոչվի ուրբաթ հունվար 13-ին։ Հիշեցեք, որ ասի կապված չէ առաջին քայլ առաջին ծառայելով, այլ գախված է բանջարներու բավարարումով։ So ուզենք քեզի ասելադի։
Okay, so we are going to go through the first couple of slides will be the basics about the program, and then I'm going to walk you through the application itself. So this is a $475 million program, and the funding is brought to you by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate, and it is delivered or administered by Lendistry, which is a lender in California and also a community development financial institution. You want me to go bullet by bullet, Ace? Is that easier for this?
You can go through the whole slide.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you got it. There will be 2 rounds, and there's approximately $237.5 million in each round. Once the first round is over and they start awarding funds, they'll start round 2. We don't know exactly when that will be, but most likely sometime in February when they'll start round 2. You do not have to apply in round 1, but we would suggest that you apply in round 1 so that you have a chance to get both sides of the fund. And you can only get 1 grant, but want to make sure that you're aware. It is not first come, first serve. It's open to both for-profit and nonprofit. And on the next slide, I'll go through the definition of a small business and a small nonprofit for this grant. It's up to $25,000, and your yearly gross revenue for 2019 needed to be between $1,000 and $2.5 million to qualify. And you had to have been in business, an active business or an active non as of June 1st, 2019. What that means is you had to have made a sale as of June 1st, 2019 or prior to be eligible for this grant. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the buckets of where you'd fit based on your gross sales, right? So 1,000 to 100,000, you would qualify for a $5,000 grant. $100,001 to $1 million, you'd qualify for a $15,000 grant, and $1,001 to $2.5 million, you'd qualify for a $25,000 grant.
So ասի տրամաշնորի մասին է, $475 միլիոն գա, ընդունելու համար մի քանի բաներ կան, պայմաններ կան, բայց Lendistry խումբը պիտի դարաձե աստրամը ցեզի, կառավարությունն են դրվել է, որ իրենք ցեզի բաժնեն։ Առաջին շրջանակիցը 275.5 միլիոն է, եթե այս շրջանակիցը չթիմեք ու չհասցնեք, երկրորդին գերտա։ So վնաս չունի, եթե չհասցուցիկ։ Հիշեցեք, որ առաջին քալ առաջին ծառայելով պայմանով չէ, գբացվի ասի բոլոր բիզնեսների համար, եթե շահագործ է կամ բարեգործական գազམ་ագերբություն է, երկուքին գա, պետք ամենաշատը, որ գրնակ կստանալ 25,000 է, բայց տարեկան ամենակիչը 1,000 պետք է շինեք իբր եկամուտ եւ ամենաշատը 2.5 միլիոն։ Եթե 1,000-ն 100,000 շինեցիք եկամուտ, 5,000 կստանաք, 100,000-ն 1 միլիոն, 15,000, 1 միլիոնն 2.5 միլիոն 25,000 եւ հունիս 1-ին 2015 թիվեն առաջ բիզնես պետք է ունենաք դե ջատկե հետո չեք ընդունվիր You are mute again, Mike.
Independent contractor, sole prop, 1099, S Corp, C Corp, partnership, LLC, LLP, all are qualified for this grant as a small business, as long as your 2019 tax returns on your gross revenue, again, your gross, is at minimum $1,000 and a maximum of 2.5 million. If you didn't file 2019 taxes, then it would be your 2018 tax returns. If you don't have 2018 tax returns or 19, then unfortunately you wouldn't qualify for this grant. And the same for the nonprofits. The same status as far as one, you have to be, it's only registered for a 501c3, C6 or C19 that has $1,000 to $2.5 million on their 990s. So you would need your 990 for this as a nonprofit. It could be a 990, 990N, 990EZ, the postcard. They would all qualify for this, but it does have to, you do have to have a registered 990 for it.
So գուզենք թարգմանենք ցեզի ինչ կնշանակի բզդիկ բիզնես եւ բարեգործական բիզնես։ Եթե բզդիկ բիզնեսես ուրեմն գնալ անհատ ցերնագադիրություն ունենաս կան անգախ կաբալարուներ ադոնք կընդունվին աս տրամաշնորի մասին շահաթափեր ընկերությունները կընդունվին միություններ եւ այլն եւ այլն բանան է որ պետք է ծեր դուրքի հայդարարքերը ցույց տակ 2018 թիվին եւ 2019-ին եթե 2019-ին չունիք 2018-ը կընդունվի նորեն ամենակիչ եկամուտը պետք է 1000 լա եթե բարեգործական գազագնեք այսինքն շահույթ չհետաբնթող ընկերություն ունիք անալգրնա թիմեն մինակ նորեն հիշեցեք որ 2018-2019 թվական դուրքերի թղթերը պետք են եւ ֆորմ գա 990 ֆորմի թիվը որ պետք է ցույց տակ իբր փաստաթուղթ
So now we'll get into the eligibility. So again, you have to be an eligible small business, which we just defined. You have to be active in your business or nonprofit operating since June 1st, 2019. Your business must be impacted by COVID-19 and the health and safety restrictions of the business, and we'll talk about that through the application. Applicants will be required to certify eligibility, and I'll show you what that form looks like. Applicants with multiple businesses can only apply for one business. So even if you own multiple businesses, you have 5 different franchises, you have 5 different businesses, you can only apply for one. So just want to make sure that you're aware. You can only receive one grant. I did see a question already in here. I'm asking for if I'm a nonprofit and a for-profit, or I own a small business and I also am the executive director or on the board of a nonprofit. You can only apply for one with your social and receive it. So I would have, you should apply for your business and have somebody else in the nonprofit apply for that. Businesses must be able to provide documentation as far as government issued ID and a few other documents, which we will discuss. And then where do I get the information for my gross revenue? So that comes from your tax returns, and that's why they're collecting tax returns. And just so you know, it's your whole tax return, right? So if you're filing, and it's your federal returns, right? So if you're a sole prop, independent contractor, it's your full 1040 with Schedule C. If you are a corporation, it's your full 1120 or your 1120S. But where do you find what you qualify for? Line 1C on the 1120 or 1120S. Line 3 on the the Schedule C for single member LLCs and sole props. Line 1C on Form 1065 for partnerships. Line 1C and Line 2 on Schedule F for farming. Line 12 on Form 990 for nonprofits. And I also realize on the 990EZ and post stamp or postcard, there isn't one. That's perfectly fine. And then Schedule E, which is passive income, is not eligible.
I see պետք է ասահմանները հանդիպիկ որ գնաք ընդունվիլ այդպիսի որ ծեր շահագործումը բիզնեսը պետք է բացելար հունիս 1-ին 2015 թվականին ատկե վերջը չես կնա ընդունվի եթե բիզնեսը աստված է աստեցություն ունի COVID-19 դժվարություն ունեցաք կամ չեք գնալ որ բանալ բիզնեսը կամ կորձնել ուրեմն գտնվեք ծեր թիմումը պետք է թիմ վավերացվի so պետք է վգայ ցույց տակ որ թիմել եք ծեր թիմողները ամենաշատը մեկ անց կրնա թիմը եթե բավարար բազմաթիվ բիզնեսներ ունիք մինակ մեկ անց կրնա թիմը ամեն բիզնեսը եթե բավական ունիք ուրիշ մեկը ընդրացեք որ կրնա այդ բիզնեսը թիմը եւ հետո բիզնեսը պետք է թիմողը պետք է pedagogan նգարմը ցույց տա իբր photo ID եւ հետո եթե եւ դուրքերը պիտի ստուգեն որ ցույց տան որ ցույց տաս իբր փաստաթուղթ որ ասամենը եկամուտը ճիշտ է ասոն կնան գտնվի host kids meg siga 11-20 թուղթի վրա դող 3 ծեր schedule C վրա դող 1C ծեր 1065 ընկերություն բաժնեդիրությունով եւ 12-99 դողի վրա այդ բարեգործական գազམ་ագերբությունով եթե schedule E-եք չեք կնալ ընդունի
We'll go through the ineligible business, or what would make you ineligible. If you don't have a physical location in California, you would not be eligible. If you are not a nonprofit that's registered as a 501c3, 6, or 19, if you're a government entity outside of a Native American tribe, if your business is primarily engaged in political or lobbying activities, if you have passive businesses or investment companies, other religious institutions, financial businesses primarily engaged in the business of lending, affiliated companies, it needs to roll up the parent, businesses engaged in any activity that is illegal under state or local law, businesses engaged in any socially undesirable activity or activities that may be considered predatory, businesses that restrict patronage for any reason other than capacity, and speculative businesses are all considered ineligible for this grant.
So así antulադրելի բիզնեսներն եթե չեք եթե դեղագայված չեք Կալիֆոռնիայի մեջ ուրեմն չեք գնալ ընդունվել եթե չարցանակրված եք Կալիֆոռնիայի մեջ անընդունելի բիզնես է կառավարական պետական կամ քաղաքական բիզնեսները չեն ընդունվել լոբիստական խումբերը ներդրումային ընկերությունները եկեղեցական կամ գրոնական ընդունելի չէ եւ ինչ որ արոնական եւ չթույլատրված բիզնեսը adonk չեն գնալ ընդունվել.
Okay. So use of funds. So what can I use these funds for? So if you receive the grant, you can use it for payroll, you can use it for rent, you can use it for your mortgage, you can use it for operating expenses, you can use it for PPE for your business. A lot of the different things that you spend daily in your business, inventory, things like that. That's what these funds are used for. Now, what they don't want to see is if you're using PPP to fund payroll, you shouldn't use this grant to cover the exact same payroll, but you can use it to cover payroll, just not at the same time. So there's a clear distinction as to how you use PPP, EIDL, other grants, separate it so that it is structured just within this, if you use payroll for a certain time period, use it just for that, right? So ineligible uses of funds would be human resource expenses for state share Medicaid, employee bonuses or severance, so you can't give yourself a bonus, taxes, legal settlements, personal expenses, you definitely want to stay away from that, expenses for repairs and damages that were already covered by insurance, and then reimbursement to donors. So for donated items, those are all the ineligible uses of funds.
Ասոնք տրամաշնորի օգտագործումի միջոցներն են, ինչի համար գնաք կործածել, ընթացքում, COVID-ի ընթացքում ինչ որ գադարված, ինչ որ ձախ ադոր համար գնաք կործածել, եթե բիզնեսի փակում էր, կամ եթե հետևյալը միջոցներով օգտագործել եք, ադոնք գնաք կործածել, so ուրեմն աշխատողի համար կամ աշխատային ծախս եթե վարձավճարի համար պետք է եւ այլն ծախսերով COVID-ի պատճառով աչքոմը ադեն որ չես կնալ կորձածել so օրինակ շահաթա բաժինի համար չեք կնալ կորձածը դուրքերի համար չեք կնալ եւ անձնական ծախսերու համար չեք կնալ.
Okay. So as you fill out this application, everyone will get a scorecard assigned to their application. So the 4 criteria that they're using, and they're using more than just 4, but these are the 4 main criteria that they're using, are where businesses are located in areas that have impacted the most by effects of COVID-19 and the original stay-at-home orders. So they'll be giving you a score based on that. How your business was impacted financially based on gross revenue losses. And on the application, I'll show you where that is. Q2 and Q3 from 2020 to 2019. Certain affected industries, including retail, food and hospitality, health and wellness, and personal care, such as beauty, nail spas, barbershops, gyms, right? If you're in one of those areas, that's what they're looking for as well. And then the 4th category is underserved small business groups. So if you're a woman-owned business, a minority or a person of color owned, a veteran, where the business is run by at least 51% of the said group above, or if you happen to be in a low to moderate income census tract or in a rural community. Those are the 4 categories that they're going to score everybody on.
Ասոնք տրամաշնորհի ստացողների որոշումի չափանիշներն են. So եթե բիզնեսը գտնված է Կալիֆոռնիայի մեջ, ադոնք իբր գտնունին. So 4 չափանիշ կա. Երկրորդը, եթե բիզնեսը աստված է COVID-19-ին, եւ այդ բիզնեսը որ ամենաշատը աստված է, իբր եկամուտը ամենակիչն է. Եվ եթե հադավաճառ ունիք հյուրասիրության, առողջության, անձնական խնամքի բիզնես ունիք եւ այլն ադոնք կնդրվին եւ եթե բիզնեսը անփավար խմբերու մեջ է կամ եթե կանանց պատկանող բիզնես է եւ այլն այդ բիզնեսներն որ կընդունվին.
Okay. And now we're going to get into the actual application. So let me, I'll come back to this because we're going to go into the actual website, just take a look at that. But let me get right to the application part. So when you get into the application, this is the first page of what you fill out. So you're going to put in your first name, your last name, your email address, and you're going to confirm it, your cell phone number, and your business name and zip code. And then you're going to click on I accept the text policy if you do. If you don't, then you wouldn't check that. And then you're going to click on continue.
Ասի թիմումի կորձընթացն է, իսկական կորձընթացը։ Եթե մտնակ, աս հարցումները պիտի հարցնեն։ Օրինակ պիտի հարցնեն ծեր անունը, ազգանունը, ծեր էլեկտրոնիկան հասցեն, ծեր պոստային ինտեքսը եւ այլն, եւ հոսպարը եթե գտնունիք գնան ցեզի դեղեկագից պահել textով, եթե ուզեք.
Okay. And so once you complete this, you'll go to page 2. Now this is your details as the owner. If you're a nonprofit, it's who's ever filling it out. So they would like it to be the executive director, but if not, it needs to be an authorized signature of the nonprofit. So owner's first name or nonprofit executive director's first name and last name, your email address and cell phone, and then your personal address. That's what they're asking for. So where you live, and you cannot put it in a PO box, right? It won't let you. And then your city, state, zip code, county, birth date, your social security number, and the percentage of ownership. So if you are a nonprofit, you put 0. If you are a for-profit, you are anywhere from 0 to 100%, right? So you put in whatever you are. And then if you accept the terms and conditions, you're going to click on save and agree. If you don't, it won't let you go any further. So you will have to click, accept the terms and conditions.
Ասի դիրոչի մանրամասներն են, ասոնք պետք է լրացնեք, դիրոչ դերը, բիզնեսի դերը պիտի լրացնեք, եթե բարեգործական ընկերություն ունիք, մեծը, խումբին մեծը պետք է ասի լրացնե։ So հոսպիտի հարցնեն ծեր նահանգը, zip code-ը, social security նթիվը եւ դարեթարցը։ Եվ հոս քրվեր է դոգոսի սեփականությունը, ով ունի ամենամեծ դոգոսը։ So եթե տուն բիզնեսի դերն ես, տուն գտնես եւ գսես ինչքան է ծեր դոգոսը։ Եթե բարեգործական խումբ եք, 0 գտնեք։ Եվ հոս վարը պետք է ընդունիք, որ նոր շարունակեք հոս կընդունի պայմանները։
That will take you to the next page, which now we're getting into some of your business information. So what is your business name? So if you happen to be incorporated, this would be your corporate name. If it's just a personal name and you don't have any, even a DBA, this would be your personal name, and that's perfectly fine. But for those that have a DBA, on the right-hand side, that's where you're going to put it. If you don't have a doing business as or fictitious business name, then you just put none. Down below, you're going to put your business EIN or employer identification number. If you don't have one, you're going to put your social security number, your business phone number, your business type, sole proprietor, S Corp, C Corp, LLC. There's also an area for nonprofit. And then there's a little glitch in the system at the moment where it's going to still ask you for your state of incorporation, even if you choose a sole prop or a partnership. Just put California, perfectly fine. And then all the rest of the information for your business. And until you get down to date the business was established. So this is when the business actually started making sales. So if you happen to purchase this business from somebody else, go all the way back to when the first sale was made, or roughly roundabout when you think that first sale was made. I know if you bought the business and it was 50 years old before that, you're going to have to do your best to try to figure out when it was, but it doesn't have to be completely accurate. You can also, this is maybe have bought it. You could have bought the business after June 1st. As long as it was operating prior to June 1st, then you are eligible. And then you're going to put in your website. And if you don't have one, you're going to put none.com.
Okay. Ասի բիզնեսի դեղեկատվությունը պիտի լրացնեք։ Հոս կուզենք բիզնեսին անունը, եթե DBA ունի կտնեք, եթե չէ կրեք none, բիզնեսին դուրքական թիվը, եթե չունիք ադի գրնակ social security թիվը տնեք, բիզնեսի տելեֆոնի թիվը, ինչ ծավի բիզնես ունիք, որ նահանգում ինկորպորացիա ունիք, եւ նահանգը, քաղաքը եւ այլն, եւ հոն վարը կրվեր է բիզնեսը երբ ստեղծված է, պիտի տնեք այդ օրը, որ առաջին ծախսը շինեցիք, առաջին եկամուտը որ ստացաք, այդ թիվը գտնեք հոն։ Եթե ուրիշ բիզնես ունեցել եք կամ ուրիշն քնել եք բիզնեսը, նորեն այդ թիվը գտնեք, որ առաջին օրը որ ծախս շինեցիք։ Եվ եթե website չունիք, կրեք ինչ որ կրվել է հոն none.com.
Okay. So on the next page, now it's going to ask, what are you going to do with this funding, right? So that's the first question is, what is the grant? You're going to use it for payroll, for rent, for operating expenses. And there's a couple of different choices. Now, unfortunately, you can't choose multiple pieces. And I realize, and they realize that many of you will use this for multiple things. Choose the one that you think that you're going to use it for the most. And that's what I would choose. There's no wrong answer in this as you're going through it. And then you're the amount that you're requesting, 5,000, 15,000, or 25,000, based on the category of where you fit. If you're not sure, you can click on check eligibility. It will tell you where you fit. Will this grant create new jobs? Simple yes or no, full-time or part-time. If it doesn't, that's quite okay. If it does, great. But it's not a determining factor whether you get it. Your annual revenue. This is from 2019, from your 2019 tax return. Your gross sales or your annual revenue from 2019. The number of full-time, number of part-time employees. This is where your current business is at. So as of the date that you're filling this out, let's just say today, how many full-time employees do you have? And those are 40-hour a week employees. And how many part-time employees do you have? That is anybody that does less than 40 hours. So 39 and a half would be part-time, and anything below that. Number of jobs created. This is, if you get this grant, are you going to create any jobs? And if you are, great. If you're not, it's quite okay too. And are you going to retain any jobs, right? Because of this money, you're able to keep a few employees. Yes or no, right? And again, there's no wrong answer here. And this is not weighted to get, you're more likely to get the money if you put one or the other. It's just asking you, what you'll be doing, but it's not part of the equation as to whether you receive the funding or not.
Այս էջը պիտի հարցնեց ձեզ ինչի համար պիտի կորզածեք դրամաշնորը, So գրնակ ասել ինչ պիտի ամենաշատը կործածեք, ինչի համար ամենաշատը պիտի կործածեք, գնալալ բավական բանի համար կործածեք, հոս հետո կգրեք ինչքան գուզեք, ինչքան տրամաշնոր կբահանջեք, հոս որ եթե սխմեք, գսե ցեզի որ հարգը գընդունվիկ, եթե 5,000 է, 15,000, թե 25,000, հոս հետո պիտի հարցնե պիտի նոր կորդ շինվի աս տրամաշնորով, գսեք այո կամ ոչ, դարեգան եկամուտը 2019-ի եկամուտը պիտի թրվի հոս, և հետո պիտի կրեք քանի հատ full-time կամ part-time կորձավորներ ունիք, այս ընթացքին, այս պահին կորձավորը, եթե քիչ ունիք վնաս չունի, ասոր համար ասի ցեզի չի ասել, եթե գնտուվիկ տրամաշնորի համար կամ չէ, և հետո ինչքան կորձ պիտի շինվի և ինչքան կորձ պիտի բախվի.
Okay. Sorry, went too far. We're almost done with this application. So the next page is going to ask you your business demographics. So who is your customer base, or who do you sell to? Do you sell from your business to other businesses, or do you sell from your business to consumers? Right? So which one is it? And again, or maybe you sell to both. And there's no wrong answer here. Some people are confused by this. But do you other businesses that use your service? Or do you send to the end user? Are you a restaurant, retail, right? Where somebody comes in, they buy your stuff, or they buy it online and they use it, right? So, or is it both? Could be either one. What does your business do? There's going to be a drop-down menu as to, what you do as far as, restaurant, retail, hospitality, manufacturing. So you choose the one that best fits your business. And if there isn't one, there's one for other. And then what type of business is it? Again, there's going to be a drop-down menu, and it's going to be really based around industry. And if there isn't one that fits exactly where you're at, that's okay. Choose the one that best and gets as close to your business as possible. I know we had some issues like with gyms, they didn't know what to pick. So you pick other, and then where it says, tell us more, you could put in, I'm a gym, I'm a Pilates studio, I'm a flower shop, right? That's where you can define what you are. You're going to need to put in your NAICS code or your NAICS code. And this is going to define based on industry. This is a federal distinction standard. So you can, if you don't know what your NAICS code is, which I'm going to assume that 99% of the business owners don't know what it is. I probably couldn't pull up mine off the top of my head. I have to go in. But you can click on that button, type in what you do, and it will give you your NAICS code. And then you just pop it in. Now, you might be in an industry that is a little, there might be 3 or 4 choices that could kind of be it, but none of them are exactly it. Perfectly fine. Choose the one you think fits it. Unfortunately, just the NAICS code is very, very standardized and very big. So it doesn't hit a lot of the smaller types of businesses and industries that we may be in. So do the best to get it as close as possible. There's no wrong answer. Are you a woman-owned business? And that's up to you to determine. Now, the rule of thumb is that 51% of the operation is run by a female owner. So if you're 50-50 owner, you can definitely put woman-owned. It's up to you to decide if you kind of feel that you're a woman-owned business. If you're a veteran-owned business, same thing. 51% is what they're looking for, but if it's 50-50, it's up to you to decide. Disabled, you're going to put in your race, your ethnicity, whether you're a franchise or not, and then whether you're in a rural part of the community. My guess is that most people on this call will not be part of a rural community. You never know. So there are some distinct definitions for it. And so when you open it up, it'll give you some choices.
So երկու edge մնաց, այս edge-ը ավելի բաներ կան, որ կհարցնեն, որ եթե business-ի կորձ գնես կամ հաջախորդային business ես, եթե երկուքն ես, երկուքն ալ գնդրես, հետո կհարցնեն ինչ սևի կորձ գնեք կամ ինչ սևի business եք, բավական բաներ կան, որ կրնակ գնդրել, եթե չգտնակ ծեր business-ը, կրնակ գրել ու որ գրվել է tell us more, և հոն կգրեք other, կամ գնդրեք և գդբեք ուրիշ բան, որ ծեր business-ի հետ կգապնվի։ Հետո հոն NAICS կոդ կա, այդ կոդը business-ի համար է, թիվ է, որ գուդան business-ին, որ գիտնան ինչ ծևի business եք, եթե չգտնակ, վնաս չունի, ինչ թիվ գնակ 0 ալթնել։ Եվ հետո հարցումներ կան, եթե գանանց պատկանող business եք, եթե մոտավորապես 50% գանանց է, ուրեմն կրնակ տնել այո, եթե veteran եք գնաք veteran տնել, եթե անաշխատ դունակ business եք գնաք տնել, եւ այլն հարցումներ կան, եւ եթե վարը քրվերը եթե հողագործական business եք գնաք տնել հողագործական business եք.
Okay. And then the last page of the application is 6 questions that are disclosures. So is your business 51% minority or better owned? And the definition for that is minority, person of color, owned small business means the following racial or ethnic groups as identified by the applicant: African American or Black, Asian, Native American or Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, or Latinx and Hispanic. So you choose one if that is you. So it'll allow you to say yes or no. What was the gross revenue for your business for April 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2019? That's quarters 2 and 3 of 2019. So what was your gross revenue? Again, we're not looking for minus all your expenses. What was your gross revenue? You should have that. And then what was the gross revenue for your business for April 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2020? Now, we don't need or want you to go get tax returns for 2020 unless you're ready to do that. They aren't due yet. But you're gonna guesstimate with a very, hopefully a very educated guesstimation of what you did in quarter 2 and quarter 3 in 2020. And that's the comparison, right? So where were you at? Were you affected by COVID? This will be the dollar amount that the state will see and industry will see as the difference. And then number 4 is your business currently in need of business advising or technical assistance? Yes or no question. Number 5 is your business currently in need of a business loan? Again, a yes or no question. And then the last question, during the last 9 months, has your business received any COVID-related emergency grants? It really should say emergency funding, because what they would like to see is, did you get any EIDL? Did you get any PPP, any city, state, county, federal, philanthropic grants or loans for your business? If you did, they just want to see the total dollar amount. Again, most of these are not qualifiers as to whether where you fit into the structure of if there's an that's over asked for this grant. But they're asking how much did you get?
Ասի վերջին էջն է, so 6 հատ հարցումներ կան պիտի հարցնեն։ Առաջին հարցումը եթե փոքրամասնությունների սեփականություն հանդիսացող անձիկ եք, որ դոգոսը այո կամ ոչ եւ մոտավորապես 51%-ն ավելի, ուրեմն կընդունվիկ այս սահմանը։ Եվ երկրորդ հարցումը ինչքան էլ ծեր եկամուտը գուզեն որ նախահաշիվ, so նույն ճիշտ թիվը պետք չէ լա։ Երկրորդ հարցումը 2019 թիվին գուզեն որ ապրիլ 1-ին մինչև սեպտեմբեր 30, երրորդ հարցումը նույն բանը եկամուտը ապրիլ 1-ին 2020 թիվին մինչև սեպտեմբեր 30 2020 թիվը։ Չորրորդ հարցումը ինչ բիզնեսը պետք ունի խորհուրդ, այսինքն ավելնորդ խորհուրդ։ Եթե այո, գնաք ընդրել այո, 5-րդ հարցումը բիզնեսը ուրիշ ծավի լոն կամ վարկ պետք ունի, նորեն այո կամ ոչ գնաք ընդրել, եւ վերջին հարցումը ուրիշ տրամաշնոր ստացել եք անցյալ 9 ամիսը, նորեն գնաք ասել այո կամ ոչ, մինակ ուզենք գիտնալ թիվը, ասի չաստեր ցեզի ասի եկամուտին։
So when will you be notified? So because the date has been pushed back just a little bit, it won't be the 13th, but it should be probably a week after that. So you'll be notified in one of 3 things, whether you were awarded the grant, whether you're on the wait list, or whether you didn't qualify based on not meeting some eligibility requirement. So one of 3 choices is what you'll receive, and you'll receive that via email and via text if you chose the text option here. And it should be within a week to a couple weeks, depending on how many applications they get as to where you fit. Now, if you apply in the first round and you are on the wait list, you will automatically be put in the second round. So just want to make sure that you're aware. So we'd like for you to get into the first round because then you have two options to get into the funding to receive it.
Դուք դերեկագից կլակ տրամաշնորհին մասին, եթե ստացել եք կամ չէ, իրենք քեզ էլեկտրոնական նամակ կղրգեն, եթե ընդրված եք կամ եթե չեք ընդրված, կամ պիտի ասեն ցեզի, որ սպասացանկի վրա թրել են։ Եթե առաջին շրջակիցին չհասնիք, երկրորդին մի անգամեն գերտակ։ Եվ հաջի ստուգեք ձեր email-ները, որ եթե բամը ստանալու Landestry-ն, իրենք ցեզի դեղագագից կբահեն հաջիշտ թույլ տվեք որ տեքստը ստանա որտեղ այդ ծավալ գնալա ավելի շուտ դեղագագից լա.
Okay. Now, important dates to know. So currently the application is open. So round one ends Wednesday, January 13th at 11:59 p.m. So we want you all to get in by then. Now, if you've already filled out the initial application or you filled out part of it and you got kicked out, or you filled out some of it and you weren't able to upload all your documents, they are going to, Lendistry will reach out to you directly tomorrow, and they are going to send you an email that will have where your password and where you go to finish your application. Also, if you heard some things that like, oh, I didn't fill it out the right way, you will have the ability to go back into your application to make those changes. But we would like for all of you to get your application in before January 13th at 11:59 p.m.
So կարևոր օրերը որ հիշեք հունվար 13-ին առաջին շրջանակիցը կկոչվի հաջիշտ փորձեցեք չանկապեցեք որ հատկի առաջ թիմեք եթե չնեք հիշեք որ մի անգամ են երկրորդը գրնակ թիմել երկրորդ շրջանակիցը ցեզի պիտի email գրգեն password-ով որ վերջացնեք ձեր թիմումը եթե չգրցակ հասցնել կամ եթե սխալ բամը քրեցիք կամ լրացուցիք վաղվնե հունվար 6-ին իվեր պիտի ցեզի email գրգեն եւ հիշեք որ նորեն կկոչվի հունվար 13-ին.
Okay, so now I'm going to take you to the website. And so give me a second to...
So Mike, as you are running slides to go to the website, the team did receive a question through the Facebook Live feed. The question is, I moved from overseas after completing my master's degree to start my own business. I established business in March of 2020 and COVID lockdowns decimated my business. How could I go about accessing grant?
So unfortunately, this grant, you wouldn't be qualified for or eligible for based on the criteria that they said of needing a sale by June 1st, 2019. But my suggestion would be to contact Don Lowell at the Pasadena SBDC. There are other opportunities and there's more coming out, as cities are starting to get involved, counties, philanthropic organizations are starting to get involved with grants and loan opportunities. Don's going to be your best choice to communicate with, and he can let you know what's currently available and then what might be coming out. And then as long as you're on his list of people to contact, he will let you know as soon as everything comes out. At one point in time during the, I would say after the CARES Act came out, we were working with probably 30 different cities that had their own grant programs. And a lot of people didn't know that they existed. So I think that's where Don's office can really help you, and the senator's office can help you as well, understand what's out there and what's available. So that would be my suggestion, is to reach out. But unfortunately for this grant, the eligibility criteria is a little bit before you started your business. So I apologize for that.
And if they need Armenian, Ace, make sure you say if they need an Armenian speaker for translation, they can reach out to my office, Arda Chakyan, in my office.
Եթե գուզեք մեկը հայերենով թարգմանե, գրնակ սենատոր Portantinoին օֆիսը հարցնել, Arda Chakyan-ը ինքը գրնա ձեր համար թարգմանել, եթե հարցումներ ունիք բիզնեսի մասին.
Okay, perfect. So this is the site. This is careliefgrant.com. So this is where you're going to go to fill out your application. This is where you're going to go to input all of your information. So as I go down, I'm on the homepage, I'm going to go down and it says apply through a partner. So the only way to apply for this is you have to go into a partner. And it's really the state's way of letting you know that there's all these different resources available to you to help you through this or with your business just in general. So there's a lot of different organizations that are all out there looking to help you. And the great part is most of them do not charge you anything to do what they do. So I'll stop there.
Yeah, so ասի website-ն է californiareliefgrant.com բիցույցնակ ինչպես թիմել so եթե իջնակ քիչմը գտեսնակ դեղ մգա որ գսե որ բեդի թիմեք ընկերությունով հոս մի քանի ընկերություններ կան բիցույցնակ ինչպես իրենց հետ թիմելը so հիմա մենք ցույց կտանք.
Then I'm going to click on by county. or you can do it by language, but let's start by county. And so I'm going to go to Los Angeles County. And these are all the partners that are part of this California Relief Grant program. And so this is for you to take a look at. You may already work with one or several of these organizations. If you do, great. If you don't, and you got the information from here, you can choose any of them, but we'll just choose the SBDCs because that's where we're from. You can learn more about us or any other organization that's on this list. And when you're ready to apply, you click on apply now, and now it takes you to the application. Doesn't matter which partner you go through. There's no benefit, choosing one over the other. It all takes you to the same portal. It's just for the state wanted to let you know that all these resources are available to you. And so that was the best way they could think of making sure you had to go through a partner before you got into the actual application.
So can you go back for me just one page? Yeah.
I'm going to go to LA. Let me go. There we go.
So նորեն գնաք ընդրել որ ընկերությունով գուզեք թիմեք, պետք է ընկերությունը խումբը ընդրեք։ Գնաք ըստ վարչաշրջանագի կամ լեզվով ընդրեք։ So օրինակ մը հոս պիտի վարչաշրջանով ընենք եւ Լոս Անջելես պիտի ընդրենք։ Եվ հոս կտեսնած տարբեր խումբեր կան։ Ասա ամենը ծրի է, so գապ չունի որ մեկը ընդրեք, մինակ ուզենք ցույց տալ, որ տարբեր ընկերություններ կան։ Մենք SBDC-ով ենք, բզդիկ բիզնեսի ընկերությունով ենք, so մենք ասի պիտի ցույց տանք։
So I click on apply now, and it takes me into this page. So if you haven't filled out the application at all, you click right here where it says click here to apply. If you've already started the application, right now this is disabled, but you will receive an email from Lendistry, and this is where you'll put your information in for email and password. But let's start with the grant itself. I click here to apply, and it takes me to this page. And this page now tells me everything I'm going to need to be successful in the application. So this is for-profit on the left-hand side and the nonprofit one on the right-hand side. You want me to go back a couple?
Please. So asečë we work so hon gësëkhmek որ թիմեք երբ որ ընկերությունը ընդրեցիք հոս ասեցը հոս կրվերը որ հոս կսխմեք որ այսինքն ընդրեք դրամաշնորը եւ թիմեք դրամաշնորը աճ կողմինը չնեք որտեղ չեք ստացած դեր իսկ ասեցը պիտի ընդրեք ինչ ծավի ընկերություն եք եթե Փարեգործական ընկերություն եք ցախկոմը եթե շահագործական խումբ եք բիզնես եք ցախկոմը.
And then once you get to this point, you're going to click on apply now, and it's going to be all those same 6 application pages that I showed you. And then you're also going to need as after tomorrow, you're going to need these documents. You're going to need them ready to upload. So the first one is an application certification that I will show you in a second, but you can download it right here. Issued ID, your driver's license, a passport, a state ID are all acceptable, and a copy of it. And then your most recently filed tax returns from 2019. And if you don't have 19, then it'd be 18. But the whole tax return, not just a portion of it. And it's just the federal. And if you're a corporation, it's just the corporate, like we talked about. If you're a 1040, it's the whole 1040.
So ask no yes khalsi achkoma եթե շահը փարեգործական ցախկոմը եթե շահական on կրվերը պայմանները որ գրնակ թիմել աստրամաշնորի մասին so մի քանի պահանջներ կան պիտի ուզեն կառավարական նկար գրնա photo ID մալա եւ ամենավերջին return այսինքն դուրքի թող փաստաթղթերը եթե 2019 չունիք գնաք 2018 կորցածը.
Okay, and then there's one additional document that you will need. It could be your articles of incorporation, a certificate of organization, your DBA, a government issued business license. It could be your professional license. If you don't have any of those types of licenses, you're going to put NA when it asks for it, and then Lendistry, if you're awarded the grant, will come back to you asking for you, and they'll have some different documents that you can give them to satisfy. It's really proving that you've been in business since June 1st, 2019 with the proper license. So they'll ask you for that.
So երբ որ վերջացնեք, մի քանի ավելնորդ թուղթեր պիտի պահանջեն։ Ձեր հիմնական բիզնեսի հիմնական թուղթերը, այդ գազագերբության վկայակիրները, եթե ունիք, ադոնք պիտի պահանջեն, պիտի ղրգեք։ Եվ եթե չունիք, գնաք ձեր նախագահին կամ ձեր պաշտոնական թղթերը հարցնեք Senator Portantino's office-ով եւ իրենք կրնան ցեզի ղրգել։
Okay, perfect. And just to show you what this application looks like, so there's two different ones. There's one for a for-profit and one for a nonprofit. So I downloaded them already. So let me pull this open and make it bigger. So this is what it looks like. So you download it and you're going to fill it in, right? So this is where it's asking you, as you went through the application, now it's asking you, is everything true and correct, right? Did you sign? Do you have the authority to make certification references here in the application? If so, you put your initials, and you're going to initial each one of these questions until you get down to the very end. And at the very bottom, you're going to put in your name. So signature, print your name, the business applicant address, your EIN, social, or ITIN, whichever one you have. If you don't have EIN, you put social. If you don't have a social, you put an ITIN, your title and date. Now, you don't have to have a wet signature on the initial when you upload it the first time, but if you're awarded the grant, you'll have to come back and put a wet signature. So if you have the ability to do it, great. To download it, print it, and rescan it back up. If you don't, you can just type in your name twice, right? You put your full name, and then save it, and then upload it, and then if you're awarded the grant, they'll come back to you and ask for your wet signature.
So así timumi tuchtne հոսպիքի մի քանի բաներ կան, որ գուզեմ, որ տուն ստորագրես, սկզբնական դարերը պետք է մինակ տնեք։ So օրինակ ինչպես թրերը իր առաջին երկու դարերը անունին եւ ազգանունին։ Եվ իջնակբար մի քանի նորեն հարցումներ կան, ասանք պիտի մինակ սկզբնական դարերը տնեք, հետո ստորագրություն պիտի ուզեն։ Եթե գրնակ ինչ որ գոչվի թաց ստորագրություն, այսինքն մելանով, եթե ցև ունի կնելու, հաջից փորձեք ածևով վնել, եթե չէ գնաք մինակ տվել, ցեզի իդ պատասխանեն գսեն ցեզի, եթե իսկապես պետք է թաց ստորագրություն, այսինքն մելանով։
Okay, and then so once you have that, you have everything. So we've gone through it all, but let me take you back to this. So now you're just going to click on apply now, and then you should recognize this first page. It's just like the first page that we went through, and you'll go through all 6 pages and click on submit. Once you submit this first part, Lendistry will send you an email with a password, and then you're able to go in and upload all your documents, but not until tomorrow, the upload part. So you can only fill in this application. Now, like I said earlier, if you've already filled in part of this or the whole thing, they will send you an email tomorrow with a password that you can go in and make changes. You can go in and upload everything else if you didn't upload everything. And that's really where we're at today with this. But we'd like for everybody to apply. And, like I said, we're here to help. Don and his team are ready. They'll help you one-on-one through this whole process. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And Manal, do we have any questions or?
There's actually one question. I think we should read it out loud for the Facebook group as well. For the tax returns, do I need to submit my business tax returns only, or my personal tax returns required as well?
So if you're a corporation, it's going to be just your corporate tax returns, but the whole thing, if you file as a 1040 or as a sole prop, it's going to be your personal tax returns.
And do you want me to translate that?
Sure.
So հարցումը անել, որ եթե անձնական բիզնես է, ձեր անձնական դուրքի թուղթերը բերի ցույց տաք, թե կորպորացիայի թուղթերը։ Եթե կորպորացիա եք, անշուշտ ձեր կորպորացիայի դուրքերի թուղթերը, եթե անձնական բիզնես եք, ձեր անձնականը ցույց կտաք։
Perfect. So I think we've answered the questions. Like I said, if you have any questions, Don, maybe you want to put one more time your contact information in the box. But we'll turn it back over to you, Senator, and thank you for allowing us to present this today.
No, thank you for presenting it. Really appreciate it, Mike and your team for coming together, and ACE for translating into Armenian. ACE, if folks have further Armenian translation issues, what can we advise them to be helpful? Are any of the nonprofits set up for translation? What can we do? Are you available?
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. If you reach out to Don's team, they'll be available. But I also want to share with you just on the site itself, something I forgot to showcase. So if you go to this website and you click on translate, it will actually translate into several other languages. So it does have that ability.
Right, and I see the Armenian flag. So I think, ACE, make that clear to folks that they can translate the application into Armenian if they need to.
Yeah, եթե աս website-ը երթակ ու որ կրվել է translate կրնակ ամբողջ website-ը թարգմանե հայերենով։ Մինակ հայկական թրոշի վրա պետք է սխմեք ընդրեք, ամեն ինչը կթարգմանի հայերենով։ Եվ եթե նորեն հարցումներ ունի կրնակ մեզի հարցնել։ Հարց չկա։
Right, I think that's very important, and thank you for folks for participating. This presentation will be available on my Facebook page and also on my state website. So if you want to share it with other Armenian-speaking small business owners, we have until the 11th to apply. Excuse me, the 13th to apply. And so this resource will be available. So ACE, please share that.
Եթե նորեն հարցում ունի, կրնակ Senator Portantino-ին website-ը մտնակ, իրենք ամեն ինչ հոն ունին, եւ եթե ավելնորդ բաներ կան, մեզի հաջիս հարցուցեք, մենք միշտ հոսենք օգնելու, բիզնեսների խորհրդատու ենք, so մենք միշտ հոսենք.
Fantastic. And again, thank you to the governor's office, the small business advocate, to ACE for the translation, for SBDC, for everyone who put this presentation together. I hope it was helpful. I also want to thank my staff for working to set this up. And this is an important opportunity to get money into struggling small businesses. So thank you all for participating. And I do want to give a shout out as well. There are 17 local chambers of commerce that have participated in my district. And so I want to thank all of the chambers who have helped promoting this effort as well. So ACE, if you could give my final farewell, that would be great.
Okay, I'll try my best. Senator Portantino գուզե գոր շնորհակալություն մաղթեցեզի ու հայտնե մենք 9 հատ ուրիշ Chamber of Commerce-ներ ունի նահանգին դագը, so գնակ ամեն հատը գետրոնները թիմեք, եթե հարցումներ ունիք, եւ ցեզի բարի մաղթանք.
Շնորհակալություն and stetsutsun, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.